Will AI replace artists and takes away our job? Hey guys, this is Alessandro. Welcome back to my channel. A few days ago, one of my subscribers wrote about exactly this question, right? I think he was concerned about all the news that he was reading about AI able to create image, random image, or stuff like that, right? You just type some keywords and it can create automatically image. And he was worried about if it could happen the same to animation, which I think eventually will happen. And so today I came here, I want to share my opinion, what could be, how this can impact our job, right? If we will be jobless in 10, 20 years, or if it's still, we're gonna have a job, but just the industry is gonna change, how soon it will happen, and stuff like that, okay? I just wanna share my opinion with you guys. So first of all, I wanna go level by level. Yes, because AI, it's it's coming, right? But we don't know until how much extent it's gonna be able to create a really good art that is usable for production, right? So let me go layer by layer. Let's imagine this scenario where yes, with AI we are able to create animation, not maybe the most advanced animation, not the most complicated, not maybe really great in terms of acting, but maybe some generic, like a locomotion, right? You want to see different walk cycle, you want to have different animation of characters sitting, standing, doing basic generic action, right? And so actually this could be a really good thing, because maybe AI could be used to generate secondary animation. Imagine, for example, open world, right? Open world, you have like your main story with your main character and everything, but then you need a lot of secondary animation just to fill up the world, right? You want to have a bunch of thousands of people that are able to walk around, to sit, to talk on their phone. Some of them, they would have their own shop or whatever, right? You need to populate the world, right? And basically you need thousands of animation. And I can tell you that those are not the most exciting. So artists are not excited to do those kind of secondary animation, right? And so having the fact that the AI could produce those one for you, it could be a benefit, right? Because now animators don't have to focus on those boring stuff, but maybe they can only focus on the main character, right? On the main story. Maybe even on side quests, you can give better acting, better animation, because now you don't have to spend the energy on those small tasks that are small but are so many, right? And so it would be amazing, right? Putting someone in charge that says, okay, I want to populate the city with a lot of people walking around, and now with AI you can generate thousands of different animation, completely unique, right? And try them very quickly. So I think this could be actually beneficial, because again, will take away time from the artist from doing boring tasks, and actually then you can focus your energy to do something more juicy, right? And I think this could be definitely be beneficial, right? So the second level could be, what about if AI is also able to create more immersive animation, is able to create a complex acting sequence, right? You basically can type, hey, I want this character stand up, thinking, sitting over here, then maybe take a glass of wine, type in the line. There are already programs that are already trying to do something like that, where you type the speech, what the character has to say, and the character can do the lip sync, right? You can choose the emotion that you want him to have, how to transition from one emotion to another, and what kind of gesture. Obviously now the quality is not that good, but as usual, technology tends to improve and get better and better, right? So what happens if we arrive to the point where the quality is really good? Then in that case, obviously means that our job as animator will be less, but there is a big chance that now company want to produce more and more content, because if you think about it right now, is to develop a game, for example, take more or less a AAA game around 4 years, all right, sometimes even 5, even by expert company. And so you can imagine that if it became so easy to create assets, to create animation and stuff like that, and they might produce more and more content, rather than having a game that come out every 5 years, could be a game that come out every year from that specific company, right? So it doesn't necessarily means that we will lose our job, because the amount of work will be more and more. As you can see, for example, now that there is game company, they're trying to make entire planet like it's a huge amount of size of maps and everything, and those will need more and more content. At the moment they all look very similar or tend to look very empty. So again, if AI is able to help us, we can fill those big words with more meaningful animation. And again, I still think they will be able to populate those things with with meaningful stuff. There's gonna always gonna be moment where the director wants to have something specific that AI is not gonna be able to provide, right? Maybe they can give you a help, like a start, almost like a little bit of motion capture. But I'm strongly believe that there's always gonna be, oh, for the main character I wanna use the motion capture of this actor or this other actor, or maybe other sequence that again just needs purely keyframe animation, right? So then there is another third scenario where AI is able to replicate perfectly animation, like a human emotion, whatever, acting, body mechanics, action sequence, but it does it on a photorealistic level. All right, so it's super photorealistic because I assuming that you're gonna use machine learning to study from the internet a bunch of clip of people moving, and I can transport it from the internet to a 3D rig, right? So yes, let's assume that they're able to do it perfectly, right? The outcome is perfect. You don't have to touch it anymore. And so in that way, what will happen, that there will be a saturation in the market, because every company will be able basically to produce animation which is photorealistic at huge amount of quantity. And so in that case, for me, what will be a lot more valuable is animators that are able to create their own style, to make something a bit more cartoony, a bit more stylized, that are able to do fully keyframe animation and not just copy a real life and make it like animation that looks like motion capture, right? And so this is also something I tell my students when you learn animation. Yes, I tell you to study from live action reference and everything, but at the end, don't copy, because if the only thing you're able to do is copy from a reference, very soon you're gonna be out of the market, because you don't give any value, right? It's already happening with motion capture. You can see 90% of game produce mocap animation that is not very interesting to watch. It's not even well done. If AI comes along and does even a better job, then you better be a really good keyframe animator who is able to provide that extra style, that extra quality, right? That mocap animation or AI photorealistic animation is not able to provide. So I think in that case, what is going to happen, all the animators that are not that good, that the only thing they're able to do is that copy from a reference, they will be out of the market, right? And again, and it's gonna be that only the valuable one that are really artistic and they can provide their own vision and everything, they will be able to survive and be really good at that, right? That's what I'm always say. And if you guys think, by the way, just to say, if you guys think, oh, Alessandro, I don't think AI will ever take over our job, blah blah blah, it's never happened, they're always gonna make it not very interesting animation. Well, think again, guys, because 25-30 years ago there was a bunch of great animators, probably the best animator in the world, that they were doing 2D animation, which I really love it. I'm really passionate about 2D animation. And so when the industry shift from 2D to 3D, 95% of them, they lose their job because they did not believe in 3D animation. They think they were not the few, they couldn't see it. It's like, oh, this thing looks ugly, it's never gonna take over a beautiful drawing that I control and change frame by frame. Well, all those people lose their job, right? And the industry completely shifted, right? So be very careful when you think about, the AI will never take place or blah blah blah, because at some point it might happen. And if you don't adapt yourself or you push your skill, you might be one of those people who's gonna lose their job, right? So just be very, very mindful about this. The other things, then further step, is that AI is able to study that even very creative and artistic animation, not just photorealistic, is able to find out how to replicate stop motion, Pixar, DreamWorks, Warner Brothers style animation, Japanese animation, is able to do all those things and just to recreate all of them, right? And yet that's the problem, that maybe all of us should be a little bit scared. But again, if it comes to that point, then it means basically everybody could create any kind of assets in 3D that is just 3D assets like object, character, animation, because AI can basically replicate everything, right? And basically everybody could create games. And so what will happen, and we can actually already see in today, that maybe in the future, in 30 years, like we will receive hundreds of thousands games being released every year, right? Uh, because basically what happened, everybody could create something and sell it easily, right? And the quality bar will be so maybe high for everybody, but the problem is that will everything kind of look all the same. That's my opinion. When suddenly you have hundred thousands of people that can make games easily, and just because they can get asset for free from the internet, from AI, what will happen, in my opinion, that the market will be saturated with very low quality product. Not low quality in terms of visual, but in terms of originality. Everything will look the same. You will see characters that constantly walk all the same, acting choice that are all the same, because those people do not have a really great artistic vision. They didn't develop it. They just have a software doing things for them, and so things will might look very, very boring. So I think at that point, only few company or few group of people that are really, really talented will be able to raise on and stands out compared to the mass, right? I think that's what potentially happen if really AI is able to create artistic animation that just don't look photorealistic but copy a style from Disney or Pixar or stuff like that, right? I don't think it will come to that, honestly, because yes, AI can understand simple things, can put things together, but when it comes human emotion, human acting and stuff like that, is always a little bit more difficult, right? When it comes to creating a fun action sequence that is very dynamic, that is entertaining, it's very hard to replicate human brain, human thoughts, right? The AI at the end of the day is basically taking a bunch of image or reference from over the internet and try to replicate and copy them, right? So it's a bit different from genuine inspiration. So I don't think, honestly, that AI will completely replace our job and make us jobless. I think, as I said before, it will be a tool to help us to do more, to get rid of tasks that are basically boring. I was saying, like a bunch of NPC or stuff like that. I think we'll still have creative control, and I'm pretty sure there will be people who have no skill as an artist that will try to survive and just make mediocre content just because maybe they want a job or something. Maybe there's going to be a market for them as well, who knows. But I don't think they will completely wipe out human and replace us, if that's what you're afraid of. And how soon this will happen, I don't think, I think maybe in 10 years we can start to see some application, right? But not really something really outstanding. Maybe I would say these things will mature in 15-20 years. So I know they're being tried really hard to push, and you never know that. I mean, there must be at some point government regulation and stuff like that that needs to come in place, because or else, I mean, if AI can replace artists, I think can replace 95% of the job out there, right? So some form of regulation needs to happen out there, right? So I don't think I'm too worried about at the moment that it will be like jobless or stuff like that, guys. And if it ever happen, I don't think it will be too soon. At the moment, the industry, I could say, is still very strong. Still a great option to be an animator. There is still a lot of value. What you need to do is definitely push your skill, so you're not just someone copy from video reference, because this one already has not much value today, right? I can see even with some of my students where they're only able to copy reference. If I ask them to, hey, give me an original idea or something, and they're not able to do it when I'm pushing them to do it, well, that one has no value, because if the only thing you can do is copy a reference, not even done by yourself, then eventually when you're gonna get a job, you will be in trouble, because you don't have any artistic vision, don't have anything to contribute to your company. Because if the only thing you can do is copy a reference, then the company would say, okay, I'll just give you motion capture, you clean that one, which is, as I mentioned many times, not a really fun job, at least for me. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed this video. It was insightful for you, and see you next time. Ciao.